India being amongst the top garment manufacturing countries in the world, with a history of fine produce and craftsmanship across the entire value chain from fiber, yarn, fabric to apparel, presents the unique opportunity for even greater growth in the sector. The Apparel Export Promotion Council recently hosted the Excellence Honors, Entrepreneurship and Business Success 2021-22-23 to recognize outstanding export performance. The event also had power group discussion with key decision makers and industry leaders on the road ahead for promoting exports in the apparel sector in the country. The event was started by an opening address by former chairman of AEPC, Gautam Nair.
AEPC has played and continues to play a critical role in strengthening India in achieving its apparel manufacturing and export goals and making India a leading sourcing hub for apparel exports. Working with the government, specifically with the Ministry of Textiles, we have set an ambitious goal of $40 billion by 2030. 40 by 30, as we call it. And with greater focus of and clarity for the national and industry ambitions, combined with the groundbreaking reforms, some of which government has done, some of which the ministry has got on paper, we are all working together to gear up for this ambitious target. Before I request the Power Group members to take the stage, I ask you all to join me in congratulating the winners of the award group, which is going to happen later in the afternoon today. You guys are the role models who will guide us towards the lofty goals which we have set. There are a few opportunities when we pause to acknowledge achievements, and today is one of them. Great job done, guys, and we look forward to your blazing the trail for all of us going forward.
The opening address was followed by the Power Group discussion titled Achieving 40 by 30, where decision makers and industry leaders deliberated on strategies to grow India's apparel export sector to $40 billion by 2030.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today. So let me kickstart this discussion with the goal, and which is really the topic of conversation today, 40 by 30. And kickstart the conversation with Mr. Naren Goenka. Mr. Goenka, it is a very catchy phrase. It's a fantastic sort of target to set our eyes on, but it's also a difficult one to achieve, given the current landscape. So how do you propose that AEPC, along with all its partners, all the manufacturers and players that we have in this export space, achieve that target?
Industry like apparel, such an energetic members of the industry, I feel that this doesn't seem to be a very, very difficult target. There are few points I would like to stress upon here is there is a big confidence from our international buyers towards India in wake of exiting China, in wake of our neighboring countries have got sort of certain instability coming up, and moreover, we have abundance of raw material. We are the biggest raw material producer after China, so we have everything possible in India. Because of the raw material availability, today demand is for shortened lead time, which nobody else can give as short as we can give.
Mr. Rohit Kansal, you're there with us. The issues of infrastructure and the aspects of scale, which a lot of competitors, particularly when it comes to vertical integration and really delivering on the kind of scale that the global markets expect. How does your government and how does this government propose to look at that?
Many of you would have heard about the PM Mitra Park initiative. Now, the PM Mitra Park initiative is probably one of the best initiatives which has been taken in recent times. And it addresses many of the issues which have been flagged by industry. Those of size, those of scale. Each size is at least 1,000 acres. Each park is at least 1,000 acres in size. Parks are supposed to be vertically integrated. It addresses issues of land acquisition because all the land has already been acquired for. It addresses issues of clearances because all the clearances have already been provided for. It addresses issues of state support because the state is heading the SPV which runs the park. we are looking at almost $10 billion of investment in the parks, and around $500 million of support is already being given, either as infrastructure support or as development support to the companies which set up units in the park.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Kansal. And that's clearly a multi-pronged strategy and levers that we are hoping to sort of pull in order to deliver those kind of results. Let me now bring in Dr. Deepak Seth, and as somebody who has been really growing, and you've become a global leader. Pearl is a global leader in really managing and enabling those supply chain solutions and delivering at scale to many of your clients. You've just heard from two speakers, and given the targets that have been set out, sir, what according to you is still lacking? For instance, many suggest that a hub and spoke model when it comes to attracting international brands perhaps would be a key enabler. What according to you are some of the gaps that need to be addressed?
We are a global supply chain company. And we've gone and invested in, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, a lot of countries. And the way we started and how it got facilitated was that it was a plug-and-play thing. So when we went to Indonesia, we went to Semarang, there was an industrial park with ready-made buildings. So one had to just go and invest in machines. And when you go to a new country, you always want to test the waters first. So you had this building, you put 500 machines, see how it works, and then because the investment is not very high, and you build it up, and once you're settled, then you buy whole land building and do the next steps. Same in Bangladesh, there are these export-oriented units, where the government has already set up the buildings, you just have to plug and play. So this kind of a thing, when it happens in a country, it encourages foreign investment. So if you see today, if you see Bangladesh, Koreans, Taiwanese, Chinese, Japanese, there's so many investors there, so many joint ventures, because the government has facilitated that plug-and-play model. Same in Indonesia, take Vietnam. Vietnam is a small country, but they're doing almost like $50 billion. Same, whatever the industrial parks that came there, all had this plug-and-play. So for a Korean to go there, or a Taiwanese, or even for an Indian company to go there, we could just go to the industrial parks, identify the building. If you want to put 1,000 machines, you need so much space, you need 2,000 machines, and those are available at a reasonable lease. So there is no play of land and appreciation and all that thing that happen in India. Okay, we're going to invest, the land will multiply in value in a year's term, we'll be well off. But here the whole focus is on garmenting and export.
Right.
So the land building is owned by someone else. You lease it for 30 years at a concessional rate, and you put up your machines, you start, and then of course you are going. The way to go to the next level. We have a fantastic government. We have a fantastic bureaucracy who's supporting today. Never ever before, secretaries and directors were calling the industry and they come and set up. And so they're encouraging and, facilitating. Now we just have to see how to attract this foreign investment and how to add to the new product categories.
Indeed, and I think those are two very valid points. And Mr. Kansal, I'll come to you, but first let me bring in Dr. Ajay Sahai, because I think the first point that Dr. Seth brought up, in terms of this whole plug-and-play model, it's perhaps a requirement not just for apparel exports, but for exports across the board, and especially for FDI to come in. How do you sort of respond in terms of what's sort of the impediment there and how things can actually change? What could be the key enablers?
In fact, if you look into the new scheme which will be replacing the SCZ scheme, we are not only for the SCZ, but even for the industrial town, we are looking into the same kind of setup where all the imports which will take place, they will be duty-free. Depending on whether you are using the input for the domestic supply or export, you will be taxed. So whatever has been extended right now under a mover scheme, that government is intending to supply to the entire industry. That is something which Bangladesh has provided long back. If we are aligning our export with the import demand, and there I think the issue of Mr. Seth comes that we have to move toward the man-made segment also,
right,
we will be able to achieve it.
Okay, so the pie is big enough. 40 billion is a modest target given the pace of growth and how large the market is, and India is just sort of, it's the tip of the iceberg as far as India is concerned. But let me turn now to Nitin Prasad. And Nitin, share with us your investments in India. What's the scale of your investments? And it's still relatively quite small looking at the scale of your operations. Would I be correct in saying that? And you've heard some of the issues being mentioned by Dr. Seth, but as a foreign company, and the brands most associated with you are Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, to name a few, what's holding you back? And what would you really like in terms of concrete steps?
Thank you. I think the simple answer is everything that Deepak talked about, right? But that's what we would like. But see, what we do as brands, and I'm not talking only we, right? All international brands, you first look at a very macro level at a country, right? Saying political stability of the country, how is the currency doing, how's the labor situation, right? You look at all that. Now that's all in favor in India, right? Deepak talked about India is the flavor, right? So we are absolutely looking at India as a country. Then you come a level below, right? And you actually start looking at supply chain. And that's where the discussion around scale comes, right? And I think I called this out earlier in some other session. When we talk about 30 or 40 by 30, we are talking about $25 billion additional. You are actually talking about 1,200 more factories, 1,200, right? That's what you need. Now, we have all the big exporters here in this room. The next 7 years, will they be investing in 1,200 factories? I shouldn't answer on their behalf, but I think it will be 200, right? And that will be a good number, by the way. So you still are short of almost 1,000 factories. And that's where you have to get some of these companies and the Koreans and Taiwanese to come and invest and set up shops here.
Okay, so I think we've discussed a whole bunch of issues. Clearly, these need to be delved into deeper. But first of all, let's give a huge round of applause to our panelists for their open and frank feedback and inputs. Thank you so much, gentlemen. You were all fantastic. I have learned a lot. And clearly, there are a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities. But it is, to use the word disruption that I heard from a member in the AEPC, that it is a disruptive approach that the AEPC and the apparel export industry wants to take to really achieve that kind of $30 billion, to achieve that $40 billion milestone by the year 2030. Thank you again to the panelists, and thank you for all of you being a fantastic audience. Thank you.
Post a power group discussion on the roadmap to boost the sector, the stage was set for the awards and to recognize extraordinary contribution made by the Indian apparel exporters. The award ceremony was kick-started by an address by Narendra Goenka, chairman of AEPC and also founder and managing director of Techsport Industries.
On behalf of Export Promotion Council, I cordially invite you to 23rd AEPC Excellence Award 2021-22 and 2022-23 ceremony on this date. The AEPC Export Award are Indian apparel industry's most prestigious award, paying tribute to the success and innovative approach of Indian apparel export companies, extending across the diverse product categories and including both experience and startup representation. The award are celebration of contribution by exporters have made to the industry and in turn the national economy. Today we take this opportunity to honor and felicitate the front runners of the industry who by their hard work, vision and determination has made this possible. Toward this achievement of industry, AEPC has been playing an instrumental role by extending an exclusive support to the apparel industry of India for enhancing their global reach. While we commemorate this success today, we are also vigilant of the fact that India's apparel export has been constant to the tune of 3 to 4% global export share during past 3-4 years. And hence AEPC has been proactive to take the existing export of 16 to 17 billion to 40 billion by 2030.
Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal graced the award ceremony as the honorable chief guest of the event. The honorable minister along with AEPC celebrated and recognized the winners for their demonstration and outstanding vision in making a significant and unique impact while achieving success for their organization and India in the international marketplace and for adding to the growth of our international trade and contributing to our society.
I'm really honored today by getting the award from the Honorable Minister. I got Padma Shri and other things, but I got already the biggest award in the history, I can say, that is have been given by Honorable Minister, that Pitama of Indian exports. That's the biggest award, sir. Bhisma Pitama.
I would first like to, of course, thank the Honorable Minister and the AEPC team, the Executive Apparel Council, and my peers to get this award of Icon of the Industry is a huge thing for me, because it's been selected by the peers of the industry, which is rare. So thank you very much to the entire fraternity of garment exporters, and I'm extremely grateful for that.
The event was concluded with the closing note by the Honorable Chief Guest and Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal.
All the award winners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, truly honored to be amongst all of you, particularly on a day where two important events have happened. I would say the discussions, the power group discussions around $40 billion by 2030 will be a very fitting tribute to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's vision to make India a developed nation by 2047. A very august beginning to our own collective decision, not by the government, but by the industry collectively, to expand our exports of the textile sector to $100 billion and the economic value of our industry's output to $250 billion by 2030. And if apparels can grow from 16 to 40 billion in this period, I think you can truly be a game changer in the future of textile industry, in our effort to provide jobs and work opportunities to a large section of the industry or of people in this industry, and also create a value-added proposition in the industry which will transform the way the world looks at India. And of course, my congratulations to all the award winners who I'm sure will be in the forefront of fulfilling this vision, along with the rest of those who are active in the industry, who have played an important role in making this industry the powerhouse that it is. And I'm very delighted at your council having a limited number of awards. Some of the councils have 500 and 200 awards. It kills the value of the award. We should review the awards of all the councils and bring them to a respectable number, then there'll be a value to receiving an award. Can't have 500, 200 awards being given. Oh, mela hota hai, less a program, more a mela. I respect your work. I respect the good work that you have done. And I do believe the next generation will take us to even greater heights. Compliments to all the young people in the room. Compliments to the leadership sitting in front of me. And I pray and wish for your continued success. Thank you.
I'm sure that they're all very enthused and charged up. And there is no two ways about it that we will definitely meet the target of 40 billion by 2030.
The event was really fantastic. We've been doing, AEPC has been doing events for the last couple of years, but I could see this was one of the best.
The motivation which the minister gave all of us today was amazingly noteworthy. I mean, his positivity actually rubbed off on all of us. And I think with our chairman, vice chairman now going forward, they have to carry this mission of 40 by 30 most definitely.
I think this is a recognition of the, the collective work of the apparel exporters that they have done, in the face of the global headwinds and recession in the markets that India basically depends upon. So I think they have been able to weather the storm and survive. That's no mean achievement. And the labor-intensive industry in India is going through a rough time. But then we are sure that we will emerge, with the flying colors, and the goal of $40 billion by 2030, I think, is fairly achievable. And I'm pretty sure we will not only achieve, but we will probably exceed the target.